Hello, everyone, and welcome to 7 Continents, One Story.
Hi there. So glad you're joining us today.
Hey everyone, great to have you here.
I'm Niels, professor of history from Sweden.
I'm Celine, joining you from Edinburgh, Scotland.
And I'm Ethan, calling in from Malta.
Together, we explore incredible stories from history across all 7 continents.
Every episode brings you a new journey through time.
From ancient civilizations to modern moments that changed everything.
So let's begin. Right, Celine, I have something to show you today that honestly makes me quite emotional. Ethan, you too. Are you both ready for this?
Oh no, I recognize that tone, Nils. Last time you said that, we learned about the entire population of a civilization vanishing in 1 week.
Okay, I'm ready. Is it one of your mysterious artifacts again? Because the last one about the ancient Greek computer was absolutely incredible.
This one is different. This one is happening right now, not in ancient times, not in medieval history. Right now, while we're recording this.
Now you have my full attention. What is it?
I want to show you something from space, something we have never been able to see before in human history.
From space, like satellite images?
Exactly, and what it shows is heartbreaking. This image was taken from above Antarctica, from a satellite orbiting Earth. It shows a colony of creatures that have survived for millions of years. Elegant, perfectly adapted, living in one of the harshest places on our planet.
Antarctica? The only things down there are penguins?
Yes, emperor penguins to be specific, the largest penguin species on Earth. This particular image shows a place called Halley Bay, a massive breeding colony. A place where thousands of these birds gathered every year to have their babies.
Thousands, but there are penguins in other places too, right?
Of course, but this colony in Halley Bay was special. In 2009, when we first counted properly using satellite images, there were approximately 14,000 breeding pairs at this location.
That is 30,000 penguins?
Roughly, yes. 30,000 adult birds plus chicks, one of the largest emperor penguin colonies in the entire world. Now, here is where the mystery begins. This is the second clue. Are you ready?
Yes, tell us.
I have another satellite image. Same location, same colony, different year.
How different are we talking?
7 years later, 2016. Same coordinates, same location.
And?
The colony is gone.
Gone? What do you mean, gone?
I mean, empty. In 7 years, a colony that had thrived for hundreds of thousands of years, a colony with 14,000 breeding pairs, essentially disappeared. What should have been visible as brown guano stains from space, the sign of penguin colonies, simply vanished.
That is not possible. What happened to them?
That is exactly what we are going to explore today. Let me take you there. The year is 2023, December. You are standing on the frozen sea ice of Antarctica. The ice that has existed here reformed each winter for millions of years. You can feel the cold, -20, -30 degrees Celsius. The wind howls across empty white plains for hundreds of miles.
That is so cold.
And you are looking for penguins. The emperor penguin, the largest penguin species, over 1 meter tall, covered in distinctive black and white plumage. But when you look at the ice platforms that once held thousands, tens of thousands of these birds, you find them empty.
This is a tragedy, is it not?
More than that, it is a warning, a message from nature about what is happening to our world. And it involves something I need to tell you about, something almost nobody sees directly, but something that is changing the entire Antarctic ecosystem.
What is it?
Sea ice, just sea ice. Frozen ocean water, but for emperor penguins it is everything. It is their world, it is their home, and it is disappearing. To understand what is happening right now, we need to step back, way back, millions of years back, actually.
How far back are we talking?
Emperor penguins evolved somewhere around 2 million years ago. They diverged from their nearest relative, the king penguin, during a period of dramatic climate change when Antarctica became colder and more isolated.
So they were specifically designed by nature to live in the Antarctic?
Exactly, Celine. Every single feature of their body, their physiology, their behavior, everything evolved specifically to survive the most extreme environment on Earth. They are the only penguin species that breeds during the Antarctic winter, in complete darkness, in temperatures that would kill most mammals in hours.
They breed in the winter, like on purpose?
Yes, and here is why this is so remarkable. By the time their chicks are ready to fledge, to go into the water for the first time, it is summer, which means the ice has calmed down, the weather is better, and food is abundant. Every single aspect of their life cycle is tied to the rhythm of Antarctic sea ice.
So if the sea ice is disappearing, then their entire life cycle is under threat.
Precisely. Their entire existence depends on something that is currently vanishing. In 2009, something remarkable happened. A scientist named Peter Fretwell did something that had never been done before.
What did he do?
He used satellite imagery to count emperor penguins from space. You see, emperor penguin colonies leave a distinctive mark on the ice. Guano, bird droppings, brownish stains visible even from orbit. Peter realized that if he could identify these guano stains using satellite images, he could count entire colonies without ever setting foot in Antarctica.
That is brilliant. So he basically created a map of all emperor penguin colonies?
Precisely. And it was revolutionary. Before Peter Fretwell's work, scientists had to physically travel to remote Antarctic locations, often impossibly dangerous or expensive, to count penguin colonies. Peter's satellite method changed everything. Suddenly, we could monitor emperor penguins across the entire continent. We could see colonies that had never been documented. We could track population changes in real time.
So 2009 was when we got our first complete picture of how many emperor penguins actually existed?
Exactly. 2009 became our baseline, the reference point against which all future changes would be measured. And what Peter discovered was both wonderful and concerning. Wonderful because there were more colonies than previously thought. Concerning because now, for the first time, we could watch what was happening to them. Let me tell you about the emperor penguin life cycle, because it is one of the most extraordinary survival strategies in nature.
Please do.
Every year in March or April, which is autumn in the Antarctic, emperor penguins leave the ocean and march inland across the sea ice. Sometimes they walk for over 100 kilometers. They are heading to their breeding grounds, traditional sites where their ancestors have gathered for thousands of years.
Why do they walk so far?
Because they need stable ice. Ice that will last through the entire breeding season. If they breed too close to the ocean, the ice might break up before their chicks are ready, too far inland, and they cannot access food. It is a delicate calculation perfected over millions of years.
And then what happens?
The female lays a single egg, just one. Then, and this is where it gets incredible, she transfers the egg to the male and immediately leaves. She walks back to the ocean to feed. She has not eaten in weeks, and she is exhausted.
She just leaves?
She has to. If she does not feed, she will die. The male penguin is now responsible for incubating the egg. He balances it on his feet, covered by a warm fold of skin called a brood pouch, and he stands there in the Antarctic winter in complete darkness, in temperatures dropping to minus 50 degrees Celsius for over 60 days without eating.
60 days without food? In those temperatures?
Yes, male emperor penguins can lose up to 45% of their body weight during incubation. They huddle together in massive groups, thousands of birds rotating positions so everyone gets time in the warmer center. It is one of nature's most extreme examples of parental sacrifice.
That is incredible.
And then, after about 65 days, the chick hatches. The male has been carrying this egg, protecting it, keeping it warm, while slowly starving. And just when the chick emerges, the female returns from the ocean, fat and healthy, and takes over. She regurgitates food for the chick. The male, finally free, walks back to the ocean to feed.
So the entire system depends on timing. The ice must be stable. The parents must be able to reach the ocean for food. Everything has to work perfectly.
Exactly. And right now, that system is breaking down. Now we come back to Halley Bay, the colony I showed you in the satellite images. In 2015, Halley Bay was still thriving. 14,000 breeding pairs. Business as usual. The colony had been stable for decades.
And then 2016 happened.
2016. The sea ice broke up early, before the chicks had developed their waterproof adult feathers. Celine, what happens when a penguin chick without waterproof feathers falls into Antarctic water?
Hypothermia. Death.
Within minutes, emperor penguin chicks are covered in fluffy down feathers, wonderful insulation in air, but useless when wet. They cannot regulate their body temperature in water until they develop their adult plumage. When the ice broke up at Halley Bay in 2016, thousands of chicks drowned or died from hypothermia.
The entire colony?
Almost. The satellite images showed the colony essentially disappeared, and it did not recover. In 2017, nothing. 2018, still nothing. 2019, a few birds attempted to return, but the ice conditions remained unstable. By 2020, Halley Bay, once the second largest emperor penguin colony on Earth, was functionally extinct.
14,000 breeding pairs gone in just a few years.
Gone.
But why? Why is the sea ice breaking up early?
That brings us to the core issue. Climate change, specifically anthropogenic, human-caused climate change driven by greenhouse gas emissions. The Antarctic is warming, not uniformly, not everywhere at the same rate, but warming, and the most visible symptom is changing sea ice patterns.
So the ice is melting earlier in the season?
It is more complex than just melting. Sometimes the ice breaks up earlier due to warmer temperatures. Sometimes it fails to form properly in the first place. Sometimes storms, which are becoming more intense, shatter stable ice platforms. The critical point is that sea ice is becoming less predictable, less stable, less reliable.
And emperor penguins evolved their entire life cycle based on predictable sea ice patterns.
Exactly. For 2 million years, the sea ice followed reliable patterns, form in winter, break up in summer. Emperor penguins timed their breeding to match those patterns. But now the ice is forming later, breaking up earlier, sometimes not forming at all. Emperor penguins are trying to follow a script written for a world that no longer exists. And then came 2022. If 2016 was bad, 2022 was catastrophic.
What happened?
Multiple colonies failed simultaneously. Not just Halley Bay, multiple sites across Antarctica. Peter Fretwell and his colleagues documented what happened using satellite imagery. The sea ice broke up in December 2022, right at the critical moment when chicks were still developing their waterproof feathers.
How many colonies?
At least 5 major colonies experienced complete or near complete breeding failure. Scientists estimate approximately 10,000 emperor penguin chicks died, 10,000 in a single season, from a species that already had a total population of only a few 100,000 breeding pairs.
10,000 chicks. That is
Devastating. Unprecedented. A scale of mortality we have never documented before. And remember, emperor penguins are slow breeders. They only raise 1 chick per year. It takes years for a population to recover from losses like that, assuming they can recover at all. Let me tell you more about Peter Fretwell, because he is the unsung hero of this story.
What is his background?
Peter is a geographer working for the British Antarctic Survey. He is not primarily a penguin biologist. His expertise is in remote sensing, using satellite imagery to study the Earth. But in 2009, he had an idea. He wondered if he could use satellites to count emperor penguins.
How did he go from geographer to penguin counter?
Curiosity and determination. He knew emperor penguin colonies leave guano stains on the ice, brown marks visible from space. He thought, if I can identify those marks in satellite images, I can estimate colony sizes. It sounds simple, but it was revolutionary. Nobody had systematically done this before.
So he basically invented a new way to study wildlife.
He did, and it transformed emperor penguin conservation. Before Peter's work, scientists estimated there were maybe 200,000 breeding pairs of emperor penguins globally. After his satellite surveys, that number jumped to nearly 600,000. Not because the population had grown, but because we had finally found colonies we never knew existed.
So he tripled our understanding of the species population.
He tripled our count, which is even more important because now we had a baseline, and then he kept watching, year after year, monitoring the colonies, documenting changes, and when the collapses started happening, he was there to see it. Let me give you the numbers, because they are stark. Between 2009, when Peter Fretwell established the baseline, and 2024, monitored emperor penguin populations declined by approximately 22%. Yes, and that is just the colonies we can monitor from satellites. There are probably more declines we have not detected. The 2022 breeding season alone, the catastrophe we discussed, accounted for the deaths of approximately 10,000 chicks.
If emperor penguins only raise 1 chick per year and 10,000 died in one season,
that is 10,000 breeding attempts wasted. And remember, it takes years for an emperor penguin to reach breeding age. Those lost chicks represent not just immediate deaths, but lost future breeding potential. The impacts compound.
So the species is in serious trouble.
Yes, and the projections get worse. Remember the satellite images I mentioned at the beginning? The before and after photographs of Halley Bay?
The ones showing the colony disappearing.
I want to give you the final clue about these images. These photographs represent something unprecedented in human history. For the first time ever, we can watch an entire species breeding sites from space, in real time, across an entire continent.
So we have documentation that previous generations never could have had.
Exactly. When passenger pigeons went extinct in North America, we have a few written accounts, some photographs, but we do not have comprehensive continent-wide monitoring of their decline. With emperor penguins, we have satellite imagery, we have precise population counts. We have documented the exact year, the exact season, when specific colonies failed.
So future historians will be able to see exactly what happened.
Future historians will be able to watch in precise detail how humanity's greenhouse gas emissions drove a 2-million-year-old species toward extinction. That is the artifact. Not just the images themselves, but what they represent, the documentation of a tragedy we had the tools to prevent. So what can actually be done? That is the question everyone asks. The answer has two parts: short-term mitigation and long-term prevention.
Tell us both.
Short-term mitigation means supporting the colonies that still exist. Some emperor penguin populations are showing resilience. They are finding new breeding sites with more stable ice. They are adapting where they can. We can support research like Peter Fretwell's that monitors these populations. We can fund conservation organizations working in Antarctica. We can protect the Southern Ocean from overfishing, ensuring emperor penguins have adequate food supply.
But those are just treating symptoms, right? They do not address the underlying cause.
Correct. Which brings us to long-term prevention. The only real solution is reducing greenhouse gas emissions, transitioning away from fossil fuels, meeting and exceeding Paris Agreement targets, limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius.
Which requires massive political and economic change.
It does, but the technology exists. Renewable energy is now cheaper than fossil fuels in many contexts. Electric vehicles are becoming mainstream. Energy efficiency has improved dramatically. We have the tools. What we lack is the political will and the sense of urgency. So what did we learn today?
We learned that emperor penguins have declined by 22% in just 15 years from 2009 to 2024.
We learned that sea ice breakup in 2022 killed approximately 10,000 emperor penguin chicks before they could develop waterproof feathers.
And we learned that without aggressive greenhouse gas emissions reductions, emperor penguins could be functionally extinct by the end of the century. 90% population decline, gone.
But if we meet the Paris Agreement targets and limit warming to 1.5 degrees, approximately 31% of colonies could survive. There is still hope, but the window is closing rapidly.
And we learned that one person, Peter Fretwell, made it possible for us to see what was happening. Without him and satellite technology, we would not even know about this crisis.
Remember Peter Fretwell. Remember the name. He is a scientist who dedicated his career to watching creatures he will never meet, living in a place he does not live, facing a threat he did not create. He bears witness. He documents. He tells the truth. And the world needs people like Peter Fretwell.
Remember Peter Fretwell?
Remember Peter Fretwell.
Until our next journey through time, keep history alive, and keep the planet alive too, because emperor penguins and countless other species are counting on us.
Next week, we are heading to a completely different continent, Africa, and we are going to explore something that has shaped human history more than any war, any empire, any discovery.
What is it?
The Sahara Desert, and the incredible civilizations that thrived there thousands of years ago, before climate change turned the region into a vast expanse of sand.
Climate change in ancient times?
The Sahara used to be green. Humans lived there, thrived there, and then it became the desert we know today. The story of how humans adapted to that change will shock you.
We will meet a woman explorer who rediscovered these lost cities, and we will hold a mysterious artifact that proves civilization existed where only sand exists today.
That sounds amazing. I cannot wait.
See you next time, everyone. Keep history alive.
Keep history alive.
Keep history alive.